Hey, it's Anthony Wofford here, howtogetintodramaschool.com. Today's podcast is an awesome one. It's a rare treat that a young actor has the humility to talk about challenges of not getting accepted into drama school, and that's what we have for you today. A really talented, dedicated, uh, classically trained actor who's ready to continue his acting training in college got uh, rejected from auditions this year. So this podcast is my friend Mateen. He is a young actor who will be auditioning again next year and in the years to come as he continues to grow his craft and get better as an actor. And I'm really excited for you to meet Mateen, hear his story and how he's overcoming not getting accepted, as well as just all his awesome insights. So here's Mateen. This is howtogetintodramaschool.com, where we help you get into the best drama schools in the world. Enjoy.
My name is Mateen Bizar. I'm 18 years old. I go to Santa Monica High School. I live in Santa Monica here in LA. And yeah.
Nice. And you've been studying acting for how long?
Well, with high school and younger, before, almost about 9-ish years.
Wow. Okay. And when did you get into it? Like, what kind of got you sparked?
Well, ever since I was a kid, I remember watching old Asian TV series that had ninjas and samurais, and those kind of inspired me to write my own stuff.
Oh, cool.
So I would come up with imaginary games with one of my friends that we would play in my backyard when I was a kid, and we had we would imagine dragons, and my dad would make wooden swords for me, so we could have those and we could play with them around. And
you're like, I'm gonna be an actor.
Pretty much. Well, back then when I was younger, it wasn't acting because I didn't know what it was. I was just oh, I like to perform. I like to show this thing of I want to show my moves. But then as I grow older and as I saw movies, and I was oh, this is really cool. I can become someone else. So
now, you did become someone else. You really took to the training. You have raw talent. I've spoken with your teachers, spoken with your classmates, and you do stand out as one of the top actors at your school. And you want to study acting, you want to continue. I know this about you. So tell me kind of how, obviously you don't have control of your talent necessarily, but you do have control over a lot of other stuff, your work ethic, how much you want to grow. How do you feel like you've taken yourself to a standout position amongst your peers?
I guess I do a lot of reading. I read a lot of plays. I try to read at least 3 to 4 plays a month.
That's awesome.
So I could be familiar with the writer's works. I can be familiar with the language that they speak. And I guess just working really hard on myself when it comes to learning the characters. If I have a monologue, then I do research about it. I read the play. I write my own little notes. I put down questions. Just overworking myself in a way. I remember one time I was memorizing one of my monologues just for class, and I was I need something that's out of the ordinary. So I put my monologue in a piece of plastic, and I go into the shower, I stick it on the wall, and I just perform my monologue while I was under shower.
Mm-hmm.
And I would cover my ears, and I would hear the the water splashing on my head, and so different ways of doing it myself.
Absolutely.
So
exploring.
Yeah. Seeing if I can find something new with it.
We talk about that in helping students get into drama school. We talk about doing it in different ways.
Yeah.
Over dramatic or super opposite of what you think it is, or in the shower. Anything that keeps the monologue malleable, keeps it fresh, keeps it, different, because you need to have that present tense whenever you perform it. It can't be this thing that you've done a billion times, even though literally we do it a billion times. So let's make that transition now. You're a senior this year.
Yes.
I want you to share a little bit about your journey with auditioning and where you're at right now.
So basically I was going to apply to a lot of schools this year, a lot in East Coast and some in California, but I was thinking of I as a person, I'm not fully ready to like, let's say I would get into an East Coast school and I'm not really ready to like move to another state by myself and like have that be like my own thing. And I was like, well, the only school that would be worth me going would be Juilliard. So Juilliard was the only school that I applied to, and I had I had 4 monologues, and I just worked with them. Like,
Can you share what they were?
yeah, one of them was Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo, and then I played a tiger, and then I had Shylock from Merchant of Venice, and then I had Thisbe from Midsummer Night's Dream, and I had Naomi from Naomi in the Living Room.
Nice.
And I ended up performing Shylock and Tiger, which I regret a lot.
Oh, yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
we'll get into that in a second. So, because I'm interested in why you regret that. But before we do, continue on. You said you kind of decided that you're not quite ready
Yeah.
to go. And the only school that would compel you to actually figure that out would be Juilliard.
Yeah.
But, like, so where are you at now with everything?
Well, I'm enrolling at SMC, which is a community college in Santa Monica, and I thought this was also a really good thing for me because I get to also explore some of the other things besides acting that I'm interested in, like political science or psychology or like things like that that also can somehow connect to, because I'm also interested in political theater. But so I was thinking of like, okay, well, I didn't get into Juilliard, so it's good that I also have this option that I can explore these other things that I'm also interested in, and then fully decide what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be majoring in theater, but also I would have a minor in political science.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think a lot of students, in talking to them, express that desire. They have a desire to go study at a rigorous BFA program, but they also have other interests.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not even necessarily fallback.
Yeah.
It's more actually like
Growth.
double in
Yeah.
growth, you know, because everybody knows you can't really double major at a BFA program.
Yeah.
It's like if you do get into something like that,
You only do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
but at the same time, you'd be like, well, if I don't, I would actually enjoy, you know, starting to grow in this area too.
Yeah.
So, and that sounds like what you're doing.
Yeah, pretty
Which is
much.
very powerful.
Yeah.
That's cool because you can, you know, are you planning on auditioning again for multiple schools?
Yeah.
Next year, you are.
Some of them are going to be next year, and the other ones are going to be like some of the UCs are going to be in 2 years.
Okay.
But like some schools.
Is that for community college purposes, like the 2-year?
Yeah, so like UCs, like UCLA, like some of the like UC Santa Barbara, all of those schools that require 2 years of community college and then transfer. But some schools like Juilliard, Notre Dame, or like all those things, those are just like 1 year of community college, and then like I can transfer. Yeah.
So that was what I was going to ask. So they say if you've gone to 1 year of community college, certain of those credits will transfer.
Yeah.
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 Academically and stuff.
Yes.
Right. I know that no matter what, you have to start at the beginning as a freshman from
Yeah.
an acting point of view.
Yes.
But that's nice that you get some credits transferred after a year. All right. So before we get into some of the monologue stuff, I do want to hear which schools you are looking at, like BA programs and BFA programs over the next 2 years.
Over the next 2 years, I was thinking of Juilliard, NYU, Carnegie Mellon, Notre Dame, DePaul, UCLA, Cal Arts, or some other ones, Duke. Did I say DePaul?
Yep.
Yeah. Those are like mostly like the top ones that I
Great.
would like. Yeah.
What kind of attracted you personally about certain programs?
Well, I think it comes to like theater, especially because when I moved here 3 years ago, my English wasn't as good, and I was like in the ELD classes, like learning English as I would like do my other classes, and so I always wanted to do theater. And my English teacher came up to me and said, "Okay, who is interested in theater?" And I was like, "Me, I want to do it." And she was like, "Okay, great." So she gave me like the sheets to like fill out, and then I went to the audition room, and theater was like a really big thing for me to like find friends immediately, like as I started school in a new place where like most of the people knew each other from like years ago, and like they're all friends from middle school and all that. And so it was like a really cool thing for me to like find friends immediately doing the same things that I like. And then I got a call back, and then it was the Crucible my sophomore year. I played Francis Nurse.
Wow.
And so that was like my moment of like, okay, theater this is the best thing. I like found friends, and people enjoy watching me do it. I enjoy performing it, and so why not? And so I feel like the thing about theater is because it's such a humanities thing, and you can connect with people because you take different characters to perform. Like you get to play a salesman, you get to play a Jewish person who's been like damned his whole life, or like you play a really poor person or a king or people who've been betrayed. And so you take all these different kind of personalities, and so it's so easy for you to connect with other people. And so that was like one of the main things that was
That's
like,
awesome.
Really easy.
And these programs you feel really support that as far as like a next level thing.
Yeah.
Like, because did you do a lot of research into each program, or how did you find out about, like, let's say Duke and Cal Arts? I mean, obviously, how did you find out, like, okay, this attracts me about Duke, this attracts me about DePaul? Was there certain things, or?
Well, for Cal Arts, like, specifically,
Yeah.
I did the summer program one time that we made a short film, and so my film got, like, aired at Sony Pictures.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so I got to like talk with the teachers, and they brought in guests, and it was really fun for me to like hear about their experience like as a student who are graduating, some of them, and they would like say they went to London and like performed on like this really prestigious like theater performance. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And then like one of my really good friends, he got into DePaul last year, and so from him I heard really good things. And one of the teachers at like the Cal Arts program that I did not know anything about Juilliard. Like when I moved here, like nothing. I did not know what it was or anything, and I haven't even heard its name. But she recommended it.
Do you know her name? If I said it, would you know?
Maybe.
Mary Lou Rosado?
No.
No? Anyway.
Yeah. She was like, hey, have you heard of Juilliard School? And I was like, no, what is it? Is it a good school? And she goes like, yeah, it's a really pretty good theater school. I think you should look into it. And I was like, yeah, definitely, I'll give it a try. So I started like doing research for Juilliard, and then I realized that Robin Williams went there, and I was like, what? Like the one guy who like especially inspired me to like do acting like went to this school. I'm definitely gonna try out. And so, like, I put all my focus and energy, like, junior year and senior year on, like, trying to get a way to, like, go into Juilliard, like, get into Juilliard.
All right, this is a great time to kind of move into the audition now.
Okay.
Let's talk about, let's go right into it. I'm curious about why you said you wish you wouldn't have done those two. You did those two. Which were they again?
Tiger and Shylock.
Right, and Tiger is by?
Rajiv Joseph, and Shylock's by
obviously Shakespeare. So... Tell me why. What you didn't want to do those? Or you didn't think you did well?
The thing was that I had performed my Tiger monologue from my junior year, and everyone loved it. Like, everyone was like, oh my god, it's so great, you're doing so good. And so I was like, oh my god, this is such a good monologue to like have it just to perform it. And then I like heard of, and then one of my teachers helped me with Shylock. She gave me the monologue, Hath Not a Jew Eyes, for a Shakespeare competition, and I worked that. And like,
when was that? Your junior year as well, or
no,
senior
this is
year?
Senior year.
Yep.
This is beginning of senior year, and so I like worked on that. And she told me like the moment I gave you that monologue and the moment you read it, I saw Shylock in you, and so I really like worked with him, and like Shylock was just like my to-go monologue. And then I was like, okay, I need 2 more monologues. And so she gave me Thisbe and Naomi. And with Thisbe, the reason was it was really funny. And because it's so, like the way I did it was so bizarre. Like I would get this high-pitched voice where I would be like, oh, my dear. And so, and I would make like really funny gestures with it. And with like, or like with Shylock, and it's like so stiff and like you don't move, and it's just so serious. And I just wish that I had done Thisbe and Tiger, because I feel like it would have stand out. Because Tiger, at first I start like with this tiger form, like I'm on my
Like you're a tiger.
yeah. I'm a tiger, and
people aren't familiar with the play, but yeah.
Yeah, and I play as a tiger, but in the productions, or as it's written in the script, is that the tiger is like a human being. It stands on 2 feet, it talks, it acts like a human, but it's a tiger. But I was like, hey, let's give it a different thing, where I perform it as a tiger, and then I get up and get into the human form. Yeah.
Okay. And so you wish you would have had like just like a more of a comedic
Yeah.
contrasting with the tiger.
Yeah, so I feel like I could have shown more range to it, like for myself, but it's a game of ifs, because
Absolutely.
I could have done Bisbian Tiger and still hadn't gotten.
You never know.
Yeah.
And that's what we all deal with, right?
Yeah.
I did 2 monologues at Juilliard that I had never done together. I did other pairs.
I see.
And, you just don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much that's out of our control, but I think that, like you said, you've got to do something that you love.
Yeah.
And so if you've worked that hard on those pieces, you were right to do them.
Yeah.
Now, are you planning on re-auditioning for Juilliard, as well as some of these other programs you mentioned?
Yes.
Are you planning on continuing to search for new monologues?
I wouldn't mind, because the more I learn, the better it is for me.
Yeah, nonstop, right?
Yeah.
Always reading.
Always reading, always looking for new
But
people.
you're going to be now in Santa Monica College for a year, which is still in the same city as your high school. So you'll still have connections to your high school teacher. But are you going to get different types of coaching this year? Do you feel like you're going to prepare any different than you did?
I feel like I would, just like for myself, like to learn new ways of learning things, I guess, because I'm always trying so hard to learn a lot of things.
Keep growing.
Yeah, so I always try to challenge myself in different ways possible.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about people who are listening who are about to be in their senior year or about to audition. They're thinking about auditioning already. I don't know what age they are, but they're thinking about auditioning. Mm-hmm. You've actually done it.
Yeah.
You've gone into the room. That's a lot of what people are getting nervous about is I just don't even know what it's like to walk into the room.
Yeah.
Are they going to be friendly? Or are they what is it like now that you're on the other side of the, fence a little bit and you've actually gone through that? Mm-hmm. What would you say to someone that is going through their head or something? What tip would you give, or what wisdom could you share?
Just breathe. Breathe as much as you can. Because I remember before they said my name to go inside the room, I was totally fine and calm, and I was like, okay, I can do it, I'm good. But the moment they said, okay, Mateen, you're next, I just had this kind of a breakdown right there where I was about to cry. I don't know even why, but I was so scared, and I feel like at that moment it was the part for me that I was like, I want this so bad, and I don't know what I'm gonna do if I don't get it. And the moment they said my name, you're on deck, I just sat down and I started I was so close to cry, but I kind of breathed it out, and I calmed myself down, and I went in there terrified and nearly close to sob. But then I said, then they asked me what are you gonna perform first? I was I want to do Shylock first for you guys, and they're like, awesome. So I turned my back around them, and I just take a deep breath. I and then as I'm shaking, I turn around and I'm in character. I'm performing it for them, and it all goes by so fast that.
And then you did Shylock first.
Yeah, and then Tiger.
And then Tiger,
Shylock.
and then what? You did Shylock first, and then Tiger.
Yeah.
And then after Tiger, did they say anything, or they just said thank you?
They just said thank you, and then I left the room. Yeah.
Same with me.
Yeah.
And so that's crazy, though.
Yeah.
Right when they said your name.
Yeah. I just.
What's the solution? What would you do different next year? I mean, just because maybe you've been through it, you're not going to be as terrified, or would you prepare your monologues more? Would you like to have known that beforehand? What's the solution?
I don't think there's any solution to it, because you're performing for the most prestigious acting school in US, and so there's no formula to it. It's just a matter of you doing something you like. And I feel in the times that I've performed, the moments where I wasn't as scared or I wasn't as terrified, I could have completely like performed to my fullest extent, and when I could feel like the audience is like connecting with me. Because one time last year I did an original piece. I did a monologue that I wrote. It was like about a soldier who's talking about him getting tortured because he was at the other side of the river, and he gets captured, and because he wanted to get water for his kids, and he just talks about how his torture was, and like I would show it to the audience, like, oh, they cut my arm all the way down, all the way to my chest, and like he slapped me, and a few old people came up to me after the performance, and they were telling me like how connected they felt with my piece, and like some people started crying at the monologue, and like a monologue is really short, so you're not really expecting a full-on
emotional connection or
with
response.
the audience. Yeah, but I felt like because
absolutely,
because I wasn't so terrified of doing it, and I felt proud of doing it, I could go full on out without fearing what are they going to think.
Would you consider doing that for schools?
I mean, if some schools, because I know most of the schools say no original piece.
Yeah.
But if someone, and like I would put it as an option, yeah. Because
you've got to publish it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do often say that like monologues out of monologue books are really against the rules.
Against the rules.
Strongly
Online,
disencouraged. Yeah. Because those can be so horrible.
Yeah. I've read some of them before, but I was like, oh my God, I cannot do this. I need to read a book and find my monologue.
Well, this is very cool. I think we've gone over a lot of stuff, and again, our focus is how to get into drama school.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked a lot about a lot of different things. We haven't talked at all about headshots, resumes, applications, personal letters of recommendation. You know, do you have any, like, what was your journey with any of that? Do you have any questions about any of that? Do you have any tips for any of that stuff?
Well, make sure for letters of recommendation, make sure that the teachers that you're thinking of getting a letter from, make sure that you're building a good relationship since like whenever you have their, like either it's junior year or sophomore year or senior year, like make sure, and do not ask your senior teachers if you've only had them for 1 year, because they don't know you as well as a teacher who might have had you for like 2 years or something. So make sure that there are teachers that they know you well and they know your work. For example, if you're a theater student, like make sure to ask your theater teacher if you have a good connection with them, because they're the one who've seen your growth ever since you've joined like the acting class. Headshots, I'm not the best one because I only used the pictures that my brother took with his camera, and he had like a good camera. So I was like, okay, I'll just use these. But I didn't even have a headshot for my Juilliard audition. I just had a resume. And no matter like how short your resume is, everyone has to start somewhere. So even if you were in like 2-3 plays in your high school, put them in there. Like show them what you started with and show them like where you are now. And one of my teachers, Gina Oster, she really helps me with like monologues and stuff, and she always tells me like whenever I want to perform something, if it's for a competition or something, she says be calm and show them the real Mateen. So whenever you're auditioning something, show the audience who you really are, and that's what they're really looking for, is to see who they're watching. Like it's really important for you to feel connected with your piece. It's really important for you to be connected to the audience. And if you're connected to the audience, then they can see the real you. So never be afraid of showing who you are, because they want to see the real you because you're performing someone you're not. And so that's like always something that has like stuck out for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's really, really great. I was going to ask you for like, you know, what's your final thoughts, or what are like, you know, those are it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a great tip from your coach. You said Gina,
yeah.
You know, like that's a great tip. Like be calm and show them who you are.
Yeah.
You know, because also about schools specifically, because that's true in auditions in the real world as well. But schools in particular, they're not just accepting your work.
Yeah.
They're accepting you.
Yeah.
And so if they don't even feel you through your work, they're not even going to want to necessarily like continue the conversation.
Yeah.
And for anyone like yourself, or anyone who doesn't get in the first time, right? Again, it could be a whole numerous amount of things, but like you clearly have a desire to do this, moving forward.
Yeah.
And, you will get accepted into one of the schools. You're going to keep working hard, keep the pedal on the metal, keep reading, all that stuff. So I have full confidence. But what I was going to say was, well, yeah, they're accepting you. Like, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and like, even if you don't get into something, like when I didn't get into Juilliard, there is going to be a lot of bringing yourself down. Like, there's going to be so much doubt. Like, oh my God, I'm not good enough, or of course no one's going to want me, of course no one's going to accept me. Why would they even want me in their program when they have like this and this and that? But it's really not personal, one thing. And second, if you love doing something, you never give up. Doesn't matter how many, like, this is so cliche, but doesn't matter how many times you fail, how many times you get up is the most important thing. And especially when you want to become an actor or when you want to study acting, you have to know you're going into a world of rejection. And so you have to be mentally prepared for that. Like, you have to be mentally prepared of like, okay, I'm going to get thousands of no's, like, every time that I audition. But what matters is I continue doing what I love. And that's one thing I've realized from all the rejections that I've got in acting. And I've realized that, okay, it's not the acceptance that matters to me. It's the performing that I love. Even if it's in a room full of like 10 people max, I'm going to love performing my piece to them and showing them my art.
Yeah.
And that was like the main thing for me in acting, because I was like, I'm able to speak to everyone, like from different classes and different like places, and tell them a story that they might not hear from someone who doesn't have the voice to tell.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing about acting, is that you hear everyone's voices.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. Yeah. Any other thoughts? This has been super helpful. It's been super awesome. I mean, we've stuck to like an awesome topic, which is how to get in.
Yeah.
And your story is just awesome.
Thank you.
It's unique, and I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Just don't give up, and do what you love, and eventually you will get a yes from someone, and that yes will change your life. It doesn't matter if it's in 2 years, if it's in 3 days, or if it's in 10 years. You will get a yes eventually because you're doing what you love.
Nice.
So just don't give up and keep on trying and do what you love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Mateen.
Of course. It was great.